Hello everybody, today I'm talking Porsche, or Porsche as most people actually say it here in Britain. I really don't care how you pronounce it. We all know what we're talking about, don't we? In fact, I'm pretty convinced the same people that jump into the comments to tell me, no, you don't pronounce it Porsche, you pronounce it Porsche. I bet they don't say Ferrari. I bet they don't say Citroën. I bet they don't say Renault. And if they're American, I bet they say Jaguar or Jaguar. The hell's a Jaguar? Anyway, give me a moment. I just need to put my soapbox down. So, today, Porsche. This week, you're going to be seeing a lot of Porsche because, believe it or not, I've actually been invited by Porsche UK to go back and drive some more of their cars after the last couple of reviews that I did of the Taycan and the Cayenne. Now, I was browsing their website to see what exactly they have, check the specifications, get my script right for the cars I'm going to be driving. And when I was there, I saw a couple of cars that I wasn't aware of previously. Now, the first one that caught my eye is the new Boxster 25 years, the 25th anniversary edition. My first thought was, oh my love, what on earth are they doing? What tat! What an awful idea. But actually, having now looked at it for a little bit, I think it's a rather good looking car. Historically, don't like silver cars. The GT Silver is getting close to a grey, so I can nearly forgive it. The wheels on it, I think, are just perfection. And it might be expensive indeed. It's got a list price here of £72,760, which is a lot more than a Boxster GTS 4 litre, the car on which it's based. That's about 66 grand. So you're talking about what? About another £8,000. However, Porsche are keen to point out that for that money, you do in fact get something like £10,000 worth of optional equipment, and then of course all the bespoke stuff and everything like that on top of the price, So you're getting reasonable value for money. I think it's a good looking car. You know what? £8,000 on top for a special edition with some nice stuff on it. Fine. But then I saw another car. It's this, the Targa 4S Heritage Edition. And this is where it all sort of fell apart for me. So what is the Heritage Edition? Well, it's a Targa 4S, no mechanical changes. It's inspired by the 1950s and 60s, and it has a few interesting features. A very nice paint, this cherry metallic. The Targa itself, I think, is an interesting choice for a special edition because it's a very divisive model in the Porsche lineup. It's got these little gold-coloured logos on it, which is... yeah. It's got an old school Porsche crest on it, which is a nice little touch to actually kind of approve of that. You got a couple of plaques on there, which are a bit Marmite. A two-tone leather interior, which I actually kind of like, because often when Porsche do coloured interiors, they just do the entire thing. So if you order a red interior, it's just everything's red. It's a bit too much. So having the two-tone cream and red, actually quite nice. A little bit more premium. You got more leather. You got some corduroy of all things in the seat as well. You get the usual plaques, some embossed stuff. Hideously retro throwback speedo counter, and that's kind of it. So you would think then that, for this sort of stuff, and it's a limited edition as well. They're limiting it to 992 customers that they're going to get to buy one of these cars. Now I figured that really for this you're going to be paying a similar uplift, wouldn't you say, over for the Boxster 25 years? To me, it looks like same thing. This is different paint, nice wheels, couple of touches, like you're done, right? 8 grand, 10 grand over top, because some of those things are a few £1,000s more anyway. It's 15 grand maybe. I guess they kind of justify it. No. A regular 911 Targa 4S is just shy of £110,000. This one is just shy of £137,000. That's £27,000 more for a car which is mechanically identical. And let's just remind ourselves, it's £137,000 plus options. So realistically talking, you're talking between 140 and 150 grand on a car that's still just it's a Targa 4S. It's not a turbo. It's not a GT, nothing like that. And how could I forget? If you are lucky enough to purchase one of these 992 Targa 4S Heritage Editions, you too can also get the opportunity to buy one of these special Porsche watches available exclusively to owners of the Heritage 4S. Something Porsche call rock and roll on the wrist. Definitely the perfect accessory for the man whose wife is often mistaken for his daughter. Porsche have gone utterly loopy. You can't do that. Looks, I mean, for a start, the little white detailing behind the headlights makes it look like a clown from above. It's atrocious. I just, and look, I appreciate, I respect somebody's right to poor taste. Of course I do. You know, I know the benefits of being bold and bright and outlandish with my choice. And there's a lot about this car. You know, initial glances, I love the look of this thing. I really want one. But to me, there's a few problems here. Number one, as I've mentioned previously, the 911 is inherently retro. The fact it is a 911, it's an inherent throwback. It's inherently old school. That's just what it is. By virtue of being a 911, by virtue of being a sort of very progressively developed car, it's evolved. That's what Porsche say. It's evolution, not revolution. So you've always got something that's a little bit of a throwback. So there's no need to do a particularly throwback model. The 992 already went, I think, far too heavy on the whole kind of old school throwback kind of stuff. And this, to me, just it's another kind of, you know, notch on Porsche's bedpost of just shameful things that they've been doing of late. There's still no real sort of clear solution to the problem with GT product allocations. Done whole videos based on this, so I'm not going to dedicate an entire another half hour to whinging and whining about that, because nothing really has dramatically changed. What I want to do in this video is propose instead a solution. There's one really easy way that I think this problem is going to be solved, and that is that Porsche, probably from Stuttgart down to the UK and then down to the dealers, need to take the bull by the horns and start sorting things out, because it just isn't good enough. They're upsetting too many customers, mucking around too many people. I speak to all sorts of people, and this is including the people that have actually managed to get their cars brand new from the dealers, you know, GT products we're talking about here. And the hoops they've had to jump through, the loyal, decent customers, the things they've been made to do, absolutely ridiculous. It's stupid. It's nonsensical. And Porsche UK and Porsche Stuttgart, Porsche HQ, they basically just sort of turn a blind eye. And they just go, well, look, we just tell the dealers how many cars they get, and it's up to them what they do with them, not our problem. But you see, the thing is, guys, though, it is affecting your reputation. It is making you look bad. Ferrari are a flawed company. I will say it. There's a lot that Ferrari do that I don't like. I think they're making too many cars at the minute, not just too many models, but just a sheer quantity of cars. I don't think that's good. I think they made too many 488 Pistas and various other things that they've done wrong. So they're not beyond reproach. But the way Ferrari do things when it comes to buying special cars is quite different to Porsche. It's actually led very centrally. So Ferrari themselves, Maranello, know about you. Maranello will decide whether you're going to get a car or not. And I think Porsche need to do this. Because you see, what Porsche have had in the last sort of, well, few years is just an enormous bout of greed. They've been making these cars and making a lot more of them than they ever used to. I mean, the number of, say, 991 GT3s versus 996 or even 997s is huge. Porsche don't publish the numbers for very deliberate reasons, but whenever I've seen them sort of floated, and I've cross-checked them with cars for sale and cars made and cars registered, you're talking possibly 10 times as many 991 GT3s made as there were 996s. So they're not anywhere near a rare car as everyone would have you think. We had speculators jump on them and drive the prices absolutely wild. But the fact is that the moment these cars stop making money, the speculators, all of them, will just jump out of there, because once the asset has stopped making you money, and if it starts losing you money, you want to get out of it as quickly as you possibly can. The speculators are going to have no interest in owning depreciating assets. So you're going to be left with just your loyal customers, just the decent people that were going to buy it knowing they were going to lose money, and that was going to be fine because they liked the car, they liked you, they liked Porsche, they liked their brand. So I think what we need to do is separate your Porsche business. You have your normal stuff, you know, everything up to a Targa 4S Idiot Edition, you know, your Cayennes, your Taycans, everything can all be off in normal Porsche dealers. But GT products, and maybe 911 turbos, I don't know, maybe those as well, but GT products and special cars, 918s and so on, should be done through centralised dealers. You can go there to test drive and whatnot, and if you like the car and you can get approved to order one, it'll get delivered to your local dealer, they'll do handover, PDI, all that stuff, you can take them to get serviced. Done. That's how Ferrari do it, by the way, with some of their really special models, like LaFerrari. Ferrari direct sell it to you. You just choose which dealer it gets delivered to. That's how it works. And I think Porsche need a little bit more of that, because it will completely remove this element of basically seediness and corruption with dealer principals kind of just doing all sorts of unsavoury things and promising customers cars they know they were never, ever going to deliver. The writing is on the wall. I've heard a lot of rumours regarding the current 718 GT4. We haven't had all of our allocation yet. And GT4 prices are already sort of quite close to list in some cases. And a few people in the trade have told me that dealers are phoning around trying to find buyers for their incoming GT4 stock. This is really significant, because it means if they're trying to find people to buy these cars, they no longer have a list of people waiting to buy them. So, i.e. supply or demand is drying up. But supply is continuing because Porsche probably already decided how many of these things they were going to make. And there's a lot of factors going on this year. 2020, not really been the year I think any of us predicted. It's been a bit of a write-off for a lot of companies for a lot of different reasons. So there's things beyond Porsche's control going on there for sure, but every car company's got to deal with the same stuff. You could just sort of turn down production, but I don't think Porsche are going to do that. At the minute, Porsche seem quite obsessed with volume. They are chucking out cars left, right and centre, and they're still trying to make lots and lots of money on them. And if the word gets out that there are 718 GT4s sat around without owners at their retail price, it's going to be the end. That's just going to be the downfall of the Porsche GT market. It's very simple, really. You've got this very gentle balance of supply and demand. Up until now, the demand for GT products has way outstripped supply, which has meant that, you know, prices go up, scarcity, all that jazz. Till it gets to a certain point where people go, no, I'm not paying that much money for a bleeding GT3 or GT4, go away. However, the very, 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 very second that supply outstrips demand, even if by one car, the whole thing crumbles. The entire thing, the whole facade will just come down. This is why Luca di Montezemolo, when he ran Ferrari, always said that, you know, we will make one less car than the market demands, because there will always then be a demand. There'll always be someone that wants that car. Now, that's maybe a little bit of marketing spiel, but broadly speaking, that's how he did things. That's why your older cars, not just Ferrari, but Porsche as well, Lamborghini and so on, they're desirable. You know, Lamborghini in the 90s were making something like 100 odd cars a year. Now they make like 3,000-4,000. You make more cars, you're just going to dilute the brand. That's just how it works. And Porsche have been doing that with the GT cars, and I think until now very few people have noticed. But anyone with a memory more than that of a goldfish will know that in the 997s era, dealers had to discount the GT3 RS just to shift it, because it's a car that really on the road, it doesn't always make sense for a lot of people. So to try and sell them, they had to knock money off them. And if that starts happening with the new GT4, you know, dealers sort of advertising them and going, yeah, no, can someone please buy this car? That's the end of it. That's your GT fairy tale over. I mean, look at the prices of the 991.1 GT3. That's a fabulous car. I checked the other day because I was speaking to a chap, wanted some car advice, and you can pick one of those up now for 85 grand. About 2 and a bit years ago, you're paying, what, 120, 130,000 pounds for one of those cars? That's a lot of money they've lost in not a lot of time. And it's still a great car. That's the good news about all of this, right? There's still brilliant cars. All these GTs, they're still amazing, fantastic cars. And if you are an enthusiast and you've got one, great. Hold on to it, enjoy it, love it. But if you're thinking about buying into the whole thing right now, and your dealer's trying to tell you to go and buy another car to get into a GT product, or do this or do that, or they can't possibly get you a car, especially if you want a GT4 or a Spyder, don't take their word for it, because honestly, if this is anything to go by, Porsche, I think, really do want money out of people. And you, as the buyer, do have the power. Don't let dealers and dealer principals fool you into thinking that they're in control, because trust me, they are not. And very soon that's about to become extremely obvious, I suspect. Anyway, had to get that off my chest. There's a little Porsche rant from me. Hope you've enjoyed the reviews this week and hope they've been a little bit more positive. I'm hopeful that they will be, but we shall see, I suppose. Bye-bye.